It's only been 16 days since news bulletins flashed from Newtown describing a terrible horror that struck at the hearts of not only the people involved there, but people throughout this country and across the world. In particular, there were 20 sets of parents, particularly, that were affected by this tragedy. Sadly, they were not the first, nor will they be the last to face tragedy involving a child. We see it in other abductions that go on, not only of small children that disappear suddenly, but of even young women who are taken from our streets to be sold into sex slavery. And so we come upon this gospel reading today, and we find that the parents of Jesus knew that same kind of anxiety, those same kind of fears as to what could have happened to their child. We rejoice with them that he was found. And you can imagine those parents' sense of relief, their sense of joy, and you can sense their anger that he had done such a thing. But the overriding piece that comes from this gospel message today is that Jesus was still part of their family. Jesus was still loved. Jesus was still cared for. And the thing that Mary didn't understand with his response about being in his father's house, because it's a response any Jewish boy would have given, because under Jewish law, you wanted to study Torah. Who better to study under than the elders of the temple? And so every Jewish boy would have said they wanted to be there studying. They wanted to learn more about God and their relationship with him. With 2,000 years of hindsight, we now know whose house Jesus was referring to. But what's the message for you and for me from the readings from today about family? And I suggest that they come to us from that letter of John in particular. That we don't have to worry about the future. We don't have to worry about our pasts. That through the waters of baptism, we are all sons and daughters of God. Beloved. Beloved. So there's no need to worry about what comes next. We know that our Father in heaven is going to welcome those of us who have put our faith in him and have loved him here on earth. This is a family time. We've swelled the ranks of the regular congregation as we welcome Landon for his baptism into our family of faith. And so we each become part of his extended family, responsible in supporting Susanna and Nick, Zachary and Mallory, as they teach him about the ways of our faith. And that principal teaching to love God first and our neighbors as ourselves is so typified by the love that is already shown to this child from all who encounter him and from his parents and his grandparents and all of his family. I was particularly pleased to hear the first reading, though, because it sort of explains, it talks about Hannah. So Susanna is named after both her great-aunt Suze and her great-grandmother Hannah. And so there's some familial ties to the reading today. But in choosing to bring Landon to the church, they place their faith in a God of the now and the God of the future. And so while we recall past lives, past names, we celebrate today the gift of grace that is poured out on Landon. That same gift of grace that is poured out on you and on me every time we recall our baptism as we dip our hands into those fonts and make the sign of the cross. We are united as a family of faith that one day will rejoice in God's presence with Landon and with each other.